Hello, my friends. How's everyone today? I hope you're well. I'm out on my back porch, and just yesterday we visited this Meals on Wheels, which ended up taking the wheels off because I kept losing one, and then it would tilt. So this one is a little higher, and it is Meals on Wheels. And I just looked down and I see that one of the wheels has cracked off. And so I haven't gotten the hang of Gorilla Glue and everything else that I've put on this. They seem to not want to stay on the bottom of this particular leg. So all's well. It's an oblong planter. And yesterday I told you the story of this one and how they were both started out with Miracle Grow potting soil back last summer. And over time I added worm compost to it, and I was getting there were still the castings in it and some cocoons, and it just took off. And we went through this yesterday, and I'm guessing that if I turned the whole thing over and counted these worms, there would probably be close to 1,000 worms in here. I keep this side more moist uh, for several reasons. One, I'm usually, whenever I'm stacking up any plants that I've got going, like here, any of my little starts, I usually just, I need a place for them if I don't have my table out here, and so they sit on top of that soil. And so it tends to get drier because I'm watering the top plant, the little seedlings, and I'm not watering the actual soil. This side, however, I will come out and I go ahead and I will add, rainwater to it. And so yesterday I gave it a feeding. I gave it the slushy and with some bedding and some eggshell and what have you. And you can see just overnight I've gotten some cocoons coming back up here. So the worms are happy over here, and they are reproducing again. So I came over here and I thought, well, let me see what I can do today. It's a warm day. It's like 82 already. Pardon my finger. And so I thought, I have not turned this over in a couple months. And so I went through, and the reason I didn't do it was because I had the sweet potato vine that was growing in here. And you can see, though, that the worms still are producing. This one looks like any moment it's gonna hatch, and there's quite a few. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to kind of move everything over because I need to do that. It just every once in a while you need to check under the hood and see what's going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in all of this bedding, and it is moist. It's been soaking in rainwater for a couple days, and I'm going to, oops, pardon my hand going back and forth there. I'm going to add this in. I want to try and get the soil level higher because it needs to be. Worms don't want to do anything in just a couple inches. And it's time. It's time. Let me see what I can do. So this is just shredded cardboard and rainwater. That was it. There's nothing else in it. Maybe a little dirt, maybe a little soil. I wanted to see if I could get a worm ball. So what I did is I took cardboard. This is my paper towel roll, and I made another slushy, and some of it is solid food. And so I'm going to wiggle these in here. And we'll see if we can get the worms to, but let's do it this way so they can just walk across and do it. And we'll leave the rest of that. And to that, I'm going to add just a little bit of coffee grounds all over. Be kind of like a little tease for them. And to that, I'm going to add, this is cornmeal and Quaker's oats that have been pulverized in my coffee grinder. And to that, I'm going to add eggshell. That we add this for grit because worms don't have a stomach. They have a gizzard. I'm sorry, they don't have teeth. They have a gizzard. And so that's how they have to take theirs in. And then I'm going to add even more coffee grounds to this. Because I really want them to have a reason to come on over. And I know what I was going to say to you was that as I was going through all of this, now there really wasn't a whole lot because I have been pulling from this too to get some, what do I want to say, some soil so that I can start potting up some things. And I'll show you what that is in a minute. And then I'm going to just take some of this and go over I mean, I have to tell you, it's the most wonderful feeling. Really, I had sweet potato vines growing all through here, and it was just because I had taken the top of the sweet potato and laid it on the soil because I wanted to see if it would root. Well, it rooted, and I mean, I had roots that were, 3 feet long. Okay, so we're just going to take that and leave it here. It's going to be a little bit of a separation. And this part I'm going to leave here. It's kind of wet, but not real wet. So, just going to get my trusty little spray can here and give it a nice little spray. I mean, you can see that there's there's cocoons already on that. Today's the 15th, it's Good Friday, so maybe in a week, maybe 2 weeks, might be the end of April, I'm going to come back here and see if I have any kind of a worm ball, see if they've come from this side and migrated over. And the one thing I wanted to say to you was that whereas the other bin I thought probably had about 1,000, this one is so much drier. And I really only thought that I saw maybe I would have gone through, maybe counted 100, maybe 150. So it's interesting that the higher level of moisture and being frequented more often seem to multiply them, give them a better place for breeding. So anyway, that's the end of that. I did want to show you. I think this is so nice. I just love it over here. I did want to show you that this is some of the castings that I took off. I took some of my worm castings and mixed it with that soil. And boy, isn't this lovely? This is going to be great for planting and for maybe amending some of the soil in my garden. It's probably a 50-50 mix, which I don't need to have it that rich, but the castings were really wet, and I needed to dry them out, so I wasn't going to waste my castings. I'm sure there's still a few worms in here, and I know there's cocoons. So as I'm going through, I'll kind of pull out whatever I think I should add back into my oblong worm bins here. And I was going to call them worms on wheels, but I'm down to 3 wheels. So anyway, that was it. I just wanted to show that to you. If anybody out there has a big pot, or they have an oblong planter and they want to turn it into a worm bin, you certainly can. They've survived for me. We did have to carry this in a couple times during the winter, probably like 4 times during the winter when it got done and was too cold for them. So that is one detraction, that if you are going to have a pot or something, make sure it's something that's easy enough to lift. You know, the little shoe boxes works very well. So anyway, from my backyard and my neck of the woods to yours, I hope everyone has a safe and peaceful weekend, or Easter, or whatever, Passover, whatever you're selling. I'm sorry, whatever you're celebrating, and I hope you'll come and visit me again soon. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.